What's up, guys and girls? Welcome back to the channel of M&K's Lawn Paradise. If you have read the title, we're going to go ahead and change this head out, or we're just going to show you how to change a head out on a HUSQVARNA L28LD. This is not mine. This is the in-laws. They bought one just like me. So if you're wanting to change one out on the attachment or whatnot, you want to put a brush head on there, which I don't recommend because it's not a straight rod shaft or nothing like that inside. It's a spring-loaded one that runs through. So, but whatever. If you want to take the head off, change it out, it don't matter. We're going to go ahead and show y'all how to do that. If you haven't did one before, I'll show you how to go ahead and do it. But at the time we're doing this, I want to go ahead and talk about, the mistakes also that I don't want you to make if you're just getting started in the lawn service business. And I talked about this on the short and said, be looking out for it. The mistake is you don't want to go into, the lawn service saying, well, I have to do that anyway, so I'm not going to go ahead and charge for that. I'm just going to go ahead and give a quote off of, just mowing and weed eating, not taking into consideration the time it takes for you to do that weed, that trimming or weeding around the yard or anything like that, mowing around. You're just saying, oh, I have to weed anyway, so what I need to charge them for that. I'm just gonna give them a price, and making your prices off of something that you thinking you have to do anyway. And that's a mistake right there. You do not want to make that mistake saying, oh, well, I gotta trim around the houses and all that. I'm not gonna give my quotes off of that. That's a huge mistake because yes, most people want that done, but that's also more time out of your day to do that. So you also have to make your quotes off of the time it takes you to trim around somebody's yard, plants, whatever they have in their yard, and you want you to trim around. That is your time that you have to make a quote off of. Plus mowing. Say if you have a riding lawnmower, we all know as a lawn service, we ride the lawnmower in the service that's more easier than push mowing. So we take consideration of, okay, we got to mow it, but also you got to take consideration some things you have to push mow. Some things you can ride or push mow. Yes, if you ride, that's a different price because how the time it takes you to ride to get it done, depending on what size mower you have, zero turn, whatever type of mower you have. But you can start a business off with anything and everything. Any mower that you have, just getting started out there. So start with anything. But as far as making a quote off of, oh, I just got to do that anyway, that's a mistake. Because if you have a ride mower compared to a push mower, well, you got to understand the time it's going to take you to do that yard in that amount of time with a push mower than it would a ride lawnmower. Do I slack on the quotes when I'm quoting people? Yes, because I have a ride one. I tell them all the time when I'm giving the quote, if I can ride without having to push mow anything, well, yeah, that comes down on the price because now I know I'm calculating time and how long it's going to take me to do your yard, depending on yard. I look at every yard. I do not give a quote off of anything. That's another mistake we're going to get into. But do not go in giving quotes off of, oh, I have to do it anyway. When you trimming, that is something you have to take in consideration giving a quote. When you are mowing, that is something you have to take in consideration giving a quote. When you are spraying, that is something you have to take in consideration giving a quote. When you are edging around something, that is taking consideration to give a quote. Anything that takes time out of your day, you want to quote it. You do not have to be high. It's your quote. Whether they want to accept it or not, we keep on moving, but that is your time. So always do that. And another mistake is giving quotes off of pictures they send you. That is a huge mistake right there. By pictures they sending you, they don't have all the angles of the whole entire house. This could be just a backyard they send you. They not sending you the pots and everything else you have to trim around that you can see. Giving a quote off of pictures is not what you want to do. No matter what, if you cut 50 miles out and that's what your radius is cutting, well, go look at that yard. Go look at it, inspect it, give them an actual quote. When you ain't got to give them a quote on spot, you want to give them a quote when you ever, take your time, look at the yards, get a mental note, and then finalize a quote. You don't have to do it on spot. That way you feel like, or they feel like you just making up numbers. Well, go back and crunch the numbers and see. It don't matter how you give a quote however you want and how you feel, because it's all about your time. But giving a quote off of pictures is a no-no. Definitely don't do that. I don't do that at all. No matter if it's far out from where I live or whatever, I'm going to look at it. If I want to take on that job, I'm going to look at it and say, hey, I need to look at such and such. Like the other day I had a yard. She said, well, I'm out of town, I can't be there, my grandmother can't come outside, blah, blah, blah. Well, I rolled past, I seen the front yard, well, I didn't see the backyard. I didn't know if that backyard connected to the neighbor's backyard or whatnot. It was a fence up, so it all looked like it was connected. So I went and looked. The yard ended up being real small, like she said, but I couldn't take her word for it because I wanted to see myself. I don't know what I'm about to get into. I don't know what that backyard gonna look like once I give her a final quote. Now I gotta do the yard for what I quoted her. And I honor that. If I quote you something and I was lazy about it, well, I gotta honor what I quote you because I didn't take the time to go look at that backyard or look at that front yard. I took the time to say, hey, just send me a pictures. I'ma, go off of that. Do not make that mistake. But the biggest mistake, do not go in saying, I gotta do it anyway. No. You don't have to trim. Most people don't want you. Some people don't want you to trim. Not most. Some people don't want you to trim. Some people just want you to trim. Some people just want you to mow. Some people just want you to spray. You do not, that's not a thing to say, I have to do it anyway. That's the bad thing to getting into a lawn business, not any business. Because everything takes time out of your day. And that's how we get paid. That's why people pay us in this world. Because we taking our time out of our life when we could be lazy and not do nothing and not get paid. So they said, hey, come work for me so I can pay you. So it's the same thing. When you go and give quotes, you're saying, hey, I'm here to mow your grass or whatever you want me to do. Just pay me for this certain amount of time and the materials or whatever, whatnot. All right? Do not make those two mistakes. And I can go on and on. I know y'all have seen multiple videos about mistakes and stuff like that. But just in my experience with cutting grass, that was a mistake I made when I first started. Well, I got to trim anyway. So I'm just going to give them a quote off of that. And it was a low quote. Always lowballing myself just because I wanted the yards. Do not make the mistake. It's just you got to trim. Most people want you to trim, but you do not have to do that anyway. If you choose not to do that in your business, well, you tell them that. I don't trim around nothing. I spray. I don't trim around nothing. I just mow. So take those tips from M&K's line. Now, let's go ahead and take this off. If you was here for that, we want to take this right here. I know we're talking about mistakes, and the mistakes, another mistake is going to what it is, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. No, on the trimmer is righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. Okay, so just take the head off, find to clean this off, this comes off right here. Boom. Like so. Put it back on there. Say if you got a new head, we want to take it. And what I say? We want to go what? Lefty, right, tighty. Lefty, tighty, lefty, tighty. I have to get my words right. Boom. But before I'm out, I just had to show you that. Just y'all tuned into it. I'm talking about stuff, but I'm also talking about mistakes at the same time. That's how you train your trimmer head out on a HUSQVARNA. Any trimmer head is just that simple. You take whatever tool you have, make sure you stick it in the little hole that it comes in with, and go ahead and take it off like that. I just wanted to make this as a change of the head and also making a mistake thing and just my experience. I got tons more videos to come, so I would like for you to like the videos, comment on the video, also subscribe to the channel because I have a lot more to talk about in this line experience that I have. And just for you to get started. For you to get started, it is as simple as taking a mower, trimmer, if you choose to do that, and they want you to trim, you take that, you can go get started right away. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Holla.